Hello, Sam Owens here again with another helpful tip about your Polaris Slingshot. We have our subject over here, Snazzy, and our subject today is the drive belt. We're looking at the drive belt removal, tension, and alignment. We're not actually going to do the adjustments. We're going to evaluate what has to be done in order to make the adjustments. I've never done them. I am interested in finding out how to do it. Someone, I Newton on slingshotinfo.com came up and published in a titled Drive Belt Removal, Tension, and Alignment. So you will see the shop manuals on how to do this adjustment. Now, there's no video on it, only the instructions and dialogue and so forth. But I'm the kind of guy that I like to see video or pictures or something like that. That really drives it home. And I know there's a lot of guys out there and girls that trying to read instructions and apply them, you get lost sometimes as to exactly what it means. So I'm going to try and put this in a term that you'll be able to understand and follow along with me. So we're going to learn this together, okay? I think the drive belt is very important, and all of us are going to be taking our slingshots into the Polaris dealers to get the callback recall swing arm replaced. Well, when they take the swing arm off, they're going to take the belt off, the pulleys, everything is going to be disassembled, and the adjustments are going to be gone, and they're going to have to readjust. Now, something tells me that most of the guys in the shops never have done this, and they're going to have to learn, and hopefully it won't be on your bike that they're going to learn. So, what we're going to do is we're going to find a way to find out if they did the adjustments correctly, because you're going to see what a properly adjusted belt is going to look like. And we're going to make sure they don't get your belt on backwards. Very important. So we're going to put a mark on our belt in the direction that it's supposed to go, so that when they take that belt off and lay it over and it gets twisted around and the guy is not aware and just places it on there, it may create problems in the future. Same way, well, I don't think they can get the pulleys on backwards, but I am going to mark my stuff so that I know that it went back correctly. So that's what the whole scope of this video is going to be. All right, now we're looking at a critical adjustment for your belt. All right, and I'm going to point it out. You probably can see it the best over here. You see that the belt is just a slight distance away from the inside of the rear pulley. You've got a lot of space over here. For most of you, this may look like, hey, that belt should be in the center. That is not true. They recommend this adjustment for this belt to ride. Also, if you look, you can see the front pulley. Someone would look at that and say, boy, we're out of adjustment. But that's the way that's supposed to ride. This is a properly adjusted belt, according to what I have read. If this belt is riding against this inside pulley, then it's going to require an adjustment. According to the instructions, the tension should be a little more than a ½ inch, or it can't be more than I think it means it has to be at least a ½ inch. That feels about right. Just judging from the tension of belts, from what I have experienced with, that feels like a properly adjusted belt. If you can move way more without, that would be too far and you would need to tighten it. If you can barely move it, then it may be too tight. When you get yours back from having this swing arm changed out, you might want to look at it. So compare your belt now, the way it rides on the pulley back there, and also the tension right here. So everybody do that, and then when you get it back, you'll have an idea of how it was changed. I'm going to take a Sharpie, and I'm going to just draw me an arrow right here, not a big one. And this is an arrow showing the direction of the belt, the direction that it goes. Okay, there. You can still see it, a faint little arrow, okay? And that'll stay there, and then when you get it back, you make sure that arrow is pointed in the direction of the rotation of the belt, and they didn't get that belt turned around. Okay, to examine our belt adjustments, we're going to need to, the places that we make adjustments for the belt, we're going to need to take these two bolts loose, which is going to take this cover, the pulley cover and belt cover off. We're also going to take these two bolts out, and there is another push pin here which is going to take this whole little compartment off, giving us access to the front pulley, and also a couple of adjustments that we would need to look at. To take these screws loose, and I just unscrew them, and we've got another, looks like we got another bolt on the other. There it is. That's the good thing about this, is I've got a little shorty. Now, this is not hard. What we're doing is very simple. So just about any of you can do it that can operate a screwdriver. Right here is a pin. It's got a pin within another pin, and you have to pull this center out like this, the center pin. If you just take a flat tip screwdriver and twist it, you can pry this thing out. There. That's what it looks like. Just a plastic pin. Then you can pull this guy out. And see, all this does is these pins spread this out, and that's what holds it in position. Now, it should come loose. Now, before you take everything loose, look at how it's connected. Now, you know you got a connection slot there, and how it's mounted, so you can get it back. And then you just pry this thing out of there. And you just have to, there. And you want to see how you got this. Okay, we go down. You got to pull down and then out. See how that goes? See, you have a notch here. right there. So you can't pull it straight out. So let's practice. You push it down with this, and then it has to go up when we put it in. So you can't pull it straight out. You got to push down and pull it out, okay? Here is one a bolt that's in a slot. So that means that this is your L drive here. Your L drive can move back and forth in this bracket here. So this is the mounting frame, which is rigid, but that bolt can move back and forth, and your L drive here will move back and forth to give you the tension on this. Now it looks like, and the adjustments call for, this is your belt tensioner right here. That bolt will allow, once you have this one and the one up top, can you see where my finger is? Those two bolts have to be loosened, and then the L drive will move in and out with the adjustment of this bolt here, or this screw bolt. Okay, that's in theory. No one make these adjustments until we've evaluated all this information and the directions. I'm giving you some thought of how things look like they're going to work, and briefly looking at the instructions, that's what it calls for. And adjust this clockwise, this one right here. Clockwise looks like it would bring the L drive toward the front a little bit more, and it looks like you wouldn't need much. Now there's torques on these bolts, torque settings, so you need a torque wrench and properly torque this stuff. That's why I'm recommending you don't just jump in there and start loosening stuff up and trying it. But now is a real good time to do it, since they're going to be messing up all these adjustments to change your swing arm. This pivot point is your swing arm pivot. Okay, this is what I see. To adjust the belt tension, you're going to have to loosen this nut and the two supporting nuts, one up top, and then you can adjust the tension adjustment, which is that screw back underneath there, right there, and then you can move this right angle drive back and forth to get your adjustment. As far as the alignment of the belt, it's very difficult to see how you gain that adjustment, other than I don't see how you get it. That's a mystery. So maybe someone will come up with exactly what you do to get that adjustment. And the adjustment we're talking about is the belt alignment in the pulley. I really don't quite understand that at this point, but the whole reason for this video is to give you a little look at what, well, let me get the at just what to expect when you get your new drive in. So I want you to take a look at it, and when yours is fixed, you can determine if you got everything right, if you examine what you have right now. Okay, so that's the best I can do right now. I may look at actually making a tension adjustment just to make sure I can understand that, because again, it's obvious this is a fixed mount right here, and the right angle drive is on a slotted adjustment and can move back and forth with the adjusting screw. And you would have to have this loosened in order, you can see the right angle drive actually pivots on this. So it must be slotted or oval shape to allow it to move back and forth. And I think marking the belt will be good to show that that they put the belt on correctly. That is the biggest issue I see right now, is if that gets turned around, it could be a problem. And it's possible. Okay? So, thank you for watching.